welcome into the box score Terry Collins along with Murphy Fair. And Murphy, half the season is done.
Yeah, it's not like 5.5 or something. 6 games are behind us, and it's kind of amazing how fast it's gone. We talk about that all the time, but it's happened again this year, and we'll probably be doing this in the 10th or 11th week too, as far as, boy, tonight's game's going to be a great one.
Yeah.
You know, because it generally works that way, doesn't it?
Definitely is. We had weather to deal with a lot of people moving games to Thursday night, some on Friday night, and then some, unfortunately, in East Tennessee got pushed to Saturday.
And there were some Monday of this week also.
Right.
So it's been a tough night trying to figure who I need to pick for this coming week when some of those teams didn't get to play last Friday's game until Monday of this week.
Let's go ahead and look at our Sonic stats of the week. Brought to you by Sonic of Carthage. Of course, it was the #1 team in Class 2A coming to Carthage on Friday night. The East Robertson Indians, the Owls. Scoring-wise, Murphy, I know we scored with 18 seconds left, but, you know, we won. I thought our defense, especially in the second half, played really well to hold East Robertson, a very explosive team, to 288 yards. Of course, they did have 4 lost fumbles. We had a couple of a fumble and an interception there, I think, in the first half. Unfortunately, Riley Martin on the first series of the third quarter went out with the injury. Gage Gibbs went out with the injury. He's out for the season now. But as you look at the stats, East Robertson kind of controlled the ground game. 45 rushes, 236 yards. They only passed 6 times the entire game. 288 yards to 111.
You can bet your last buck because of the fact that Smith County beat them during the regular season last year and won the regional championship.
Right.
They're going to be looking for Smith County every time they play them in anything.
For sure. We want to thank Sonic of Carthage for sponsoring all our stats. But Murphy, when you look, the Owls were around 5 or 10 yards on the ground until our first team went against their second team. Now, we had a lot of second teamers in because of injury, but Jaden Evans finally got it going, as we see in the individual stats. He led Smith County with 19 carries for 68 yards, and the Owls only scored. The 2-point conversion was a bit of a hoot. The snapper was Cole Hackett. Snap wasn't good. He gets up, zigzags, X, Y, and Z, whatever they do on that game that they play, Madden or whatever it is called. And he throws it up, and we had a kid to come down with it, Coach Shoemake, for the 2-point conversion. And that was with only 18 seconds to go. But Casey Young, very efficient, especially on the ground, 52 yards passing. He was 10 carries for 121 yards and a touchdown. Caleb McNeil, kind of their bruising back, 18 rushes for 61 yards and a touchdown. And then Chase Brooks, the head coach for East Robertson's son, Cade, a couple of receptions for 28 yards and scored on a 60-yard interception return. They scored 2 touchdowns in about 30 seconds there. We had the ball first, drove it, couldn't get anything, and then punted to them. They drove it and scored. And on our second possession on the first play, we overthrew a kid, and Brooks returned it 60 yards to the house.
Tough loss, but there are good things that come out of situations like that, and I know Coach Dyer has to be pleased. His kids never quit.
Right.
They fought hard and still stuck one in the end zone at the end of the ball game. And for the most part, that probably doesn't mean a whole lot in books and in scoreboards and that sort of thing, but it means a lot about those kids.
Right.
and how they still want to win.
Let's look at the Lebanon and Watertown game. Of course, Chuck Gentry, the head coach at Lebanon, they played in Lebanon last year, and now this year in Watertown. Deuce Edwards, 22 carries for 189 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Guyan Azetta, I hope that's right, 8 rushes for 65 yards and a score. For Watertown, Blake Waldorf, 11 of 23, 112 yards. Also 8 carries for 15 yards. And then Ethan Owen, 2 receptions for 57 yards, and the Purple Tigers only score.
I didn't realize the Logue kid, the one you referenced, was on the, scout team or something for Atlanta.
Zion Logue.
Yeah.
Yes.
But now playing for Buffalo, after the way they played against Miami, they probably need some big help in the line up there, I'd say. So congratulations for a local kid like that to make the big
to
dance.
make it. Of course, he played at the University of Georgia, was very successful there. I think got a couple of national championship rings during his tenure with Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs, who unfortunately failed to Alabama last Saturday night, but a great ball game.
Yeah, that one came back from behind. It showed that Georgia had still plenty of fight in them as well, and wouldn't surprise me if those two teams end up playing again before it's all said and done.
Let's go ahead and look at Canyon County at Community. We'll have Coach Bartsch on a little bit later in the show. His team really played well, won 54-0. Eli Garrett, 10 for 14, 133 passing yards, and touchdowns, and then he had a rushing 33 yards and a touchdown. And then Braden Smithson, 6 carries for 55 yards and a score, 2 receptions for 54 yards. Then Kale Sellers, 3 rushes for 28 yards and 3 scores. And they held the Vikings to only 47 yards of total offense.
And that's still a pretty young football team, and Coach Bartsch and his staff did a great job of making sure that all the kids that had a uniform on got to see valuable time on the field, and that's going to pay dividends for a long time to come. I was glad to see that. Now they've got 2 non-region games, followed by 2 regional games, and they need to get one of those regional wins to get a postseason bid.
There's 5 teams in Canyon County's region this year. Let's go ahead and look at the Monterey at Gordonsville. Much as the DeKalb County and Macon County game was a shocker, this was a shocker to me. I know
me too.
That Mr. Grissom, the good running back for Gordonsville, was out, but Gordonsville just could not stop the running attack of the Monterey Wildcats. You look at Mr. Bowman there, 20 carries for 148 yards, 2 scores, 1 reception for 13 yards. Colin Fowler, the quarterback, has played for them, started either 3 or 4 years. He only had 13 yards passing, but then he added 34 yards and a touchdown. And real surprising that Gordonsville got shut out. I think that's the first time this year. Jay Foster, 11 for 17, 118 passing yards, interception, 6 carries for 9 yards. Looks like he took the majority of the quarterback snaps instead of Mercer Mason. And then Dalton Hancock, 6 receptions for 95 yards. But Gordonsville not scoring in the red zone was a big key in this ballgame.
Monterey has shown that even though the record doesn't necessarily show it, Coach Hughes does a great job up there, and that's a team you don't want to play unless you have to, because they're going to put one on you just like they did Gordonsville. They
led East Robertson, the #1 team in 2A, at East Robertson in the second half. Let's go ahead and look at Stone Memorial and DeKalb. Maddox Oquendo, 293 rushing yards, a spectacular night for him. For the Panthers, and 3 touchdowns. Noah Potter, a couple of rushing touchdowns. It looked like all the TDs came via the rushing route for Stone Memorial, and then DeKalb. I think they had some turnovers in the game. Jordan Parker, a couple of passing touchdowns. Wyatt Carter, a reception, and John Hendricks, a receiving TD.
I was going to say Stone Memorial fits into that same category as Monterey. You don't want to play them because they do a good job up there.
They definitely do. We'll have an interview with Canyon County football head coach Andy Bartsch when we return to the box score, sponsored by Carthage Safeway.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
At DTC, we're constantly looking at ways to improve your quality of life, to help you make the most of all your connections, so that you'll have time for the things that matter most, whether at work or play.
Score the best connection with internet that slays. Receive a free month of service when you add or upgrade your internet package with DTC. It's a great time to get started.
Call Call or visit DTC online today and make the most of your connections.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Cannon County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with one truck and a couple old barred trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Nearstar Tennessee Zinc Mines is a proud supporter of athletic programs throughout the area, including high school football and high school basketball. To learn more about us, please visit us at our website, www.nearstar.com. Nearstar Tennessee Zinc Mines.
And welcome back into the Box Score, sponsored by Carthage Safeway. Terry Collins, along with Murphy Farrer. And Murphy, since you're from Cannon County, I'll kind of let you take the lead with Coach Bartsch here.
Well, it's not like a stranger. I saw him 2 hours ago before the taping session. So, Andy, how you doing this afternoon? Okay?
I'm doing just as well as I was a little bit ago.
I understand. Got a lot of things going on in preparation for the game, and no bigger staff than you have. That's one of the advantages. You get to learn everything about being a high school football coach, whether you want to or not, don't you?
Well, I think field maintenance was a big missing link in my resume, but I've got that covered now.
Mowing the football field has to be done every week. A good week last week for Cannon County. Played at Community, a 3A football team, but you got to kind of almost feel sorry for those kids because they're just really struggling. So many young kids and not a big roster either. They were averaging 47.5 points a game, and you put 54 on them. So it was a good night for the kids from Cannon County to kind of get a breather and kind of get a little bit of momentum as we build toward regional games in the near future.
It was. We had a tough couple ball games with Fayetteville and Forest. It was nice to go out there and just really take care of business. We had turnover issues against Fayetteville, and we challenged the boys to sew that up and take care of that, and we did. We didn't turn the ball over one time. We had really good ball security, especially one of our receivers, Zay Odom. He held onto the ball. I mean, they're just Community was getting after trying to strip that ball, and he had several opportunities where 3 and 4 guys were stripping at the ball, but he held tight.
Coach, when you look at your team and their development, I know that they have maybe exceeded expectations from what they lost a year ago, but people don't remember what you did in the regular season only if you make the playoffs, and you are taking steps toward that goal.
That's right, and that should, we're hoping that becomes the norm. Is the benchmark, hopefully a few years down the road, won't be did they make the playoffs. It's did they get a home game, did they win playoff games, and that's getting to that level is a really everyday opportunity. How we handle ourselves in the field house, how we handle ourselves in the weight room. Are we getting after every chance we have to work out and practice? Are we getting after it with a mindset that, hey, we're going to get better today, with the ultimate goal of playing extra football games at the end of the season?
Coach, one of the pluses with a game like you had Friday night was the fact that virtually everybody who had a helmet and pair of shoulder pads on got into the ball game, and it wasn't a JV game. Those kids were thrown into the fire, so to speak, and it's always good for those freshmen and sophomores especially to get some great varsity time, and I know their moms and dads and grandparents had to be awfully proud at the same time.
And the JV games are nice. We scheduled 8 JV games this year. It looks like we're going to be able to play at least 7 of those against some solid teams. But you're right. Any chance you have the opportunity to play younger players on Friday night with the lights and the cheerleaders and the bands there, you're always going to get a better development out of those kids than just playing JV games. And I challenged the team at halftime. The game was halftime the game was pretty well in hand. We were in a running clock situation. I asked the older boys, I said, guys, if you get on the field, we have an opportunity to play young kids. If you're still out there with a younger player, play the best you can. Give these guys an opportunity to get solid reps, clean reps against a varsity football team, and the boys did that.
Coach, when you look at your region, of course you got Cascade, Fayetteville, Forest, and Marion County, and I think you've only played one of those games so far. But in those games, I know as you're building toward that, is there styles and I know you don't get to schedule this year, but next year you will. Is there styles of play that you like to see that are similar to your region teams?
So the region's changed a little bit with the addition of Coach Palmer at Forest, and of course us here at Cannon County, and then the new coach at Cascade. The offensive styles have opened up a lot. I think really looking at that, you've got more spread type offenses than what we've had last year. And Marion County is the one outlier in that they're going to be kind of a wing tee and a pounded football team. So you really want to get your schedule set to prepare you to play those types of teams. We're pretty familiar with the spread, having to defend it every day at our own practice. But I think setting the schedule next year, we'd want to look at being able to find some teams that might closely mirror what we see against Marion County.
Coach, 4 games left on the schedule, regular season schedule. Cornersville and Notre Dame out of Chattanooga. Those are both non-region games. And then the regional games, the ones that really count, Cascade and Marion County. And the Cascade game in particular will be played in Woodbury. And not that the others don't mean anything, but they don't mean what that Cascade does. That puts us in the playoffs if we get a win there. Or at least it looks that way.
Yeah, I think that might be the case. When we took the field against Community, there were several Cascade players there. Of course, Community is their big rival, but those kids took the opportunity to come check out, one of their future opponents on Thursday night. And that kind of our kids see that. They notice that, and we can say, don't look down the road. But that type of thing, where the other team shows up to watch you play, that can't go unnoticed, and that's going to stick in the kid's head. While that game will be homecoming, it'll already be big enough as it is and big enough a distraction. We got to keep these guys focused on what's in front of us, Cornersville and Notre Dame. But yeah, the Cascade game, if we take care of business this week and have a good showing next week against Notre Dame, take care of business there, it could be a super full house at Spread Schwartz Field.
It'll be a good time to build some momentum for that last game with Marion County as well.
Yeah, and momentum can be some people don't believe in momentum, but you get some wins, you get to feeling good about yourself, you start taking practice a little bit more seriously. You get into your huddle film and you're watching scout film because when things are going well, it's easier to do a lot of those little things that help make you a playoff team. So you're right about that. That could be a huge advantage for us.
Coach, I know it's getting later in the season as we go along. Of course, 6 weeks down, 5 to go. As far as a lot of people have a bye, but health is such a big part of high school football, especially when you get into the lower A's, the 1A, the 2A, the 3A. I know that's important that you can keep everybody healthy. Sometimes that's bad luck, sometimes that's good luck. When you look at that, how healthy are the Lions right now?
Currently, we're pretty healthy. We had a couple kids. We had one of our offensive linemen was out with a knee for the better part of a week and a half. We've got him back. One of our starting linebackers, he had a weird pinched nerve situation, and we actually held him out for 2 weeks. I don't think we just wanted to be safer than sorry. So we're at full strength on the varsity level. We have a JV kid who is starting to get some time with the varsities, and he's still coming off of still trying to mend from an ailment that he picked up in our last JV game. But just thinking about our roster, other than a couple kids who may or may not have caught flu this week, I think we're in pretty good shape.
Coach, tell us a little bit about Cornersville. Anything that we've seen before, or maybe what worries you most about this Cornersville football team?
Cornersville strikes me a little bit like Monterey. They're really big up front. They've got one or two guys that can really pound the football. Their skill guys, I think we match up really well with their skill guys. Now they don't have but like 25 kids on the team, so even their front four and front five, those kids play both ways. So that gives us an advantage because we're able to rotate a lot of kids defensively, and we've even rotated some offensive line kids to try to keep kids fresh and try to find the right combination. So if we're able to get rolling on offense and really get to play in high tempo, we can use that to our advantage and hopefully tire out those big bubbas they've got on the other side. But they're well coached. They're very disciplined. We feel like we know where they're going to be because the kids do what they coach.
Coach, it seems like it's kind of a conflict of styles. You're wide open offense against maybe their run game. I guess who can impose their will and do what they like to do offensively is probably the one going to come out on top.
I think you're right. Defensively, Coach Hill's boys pitched the shutout last week. That's Coach Hill's first shutout as a defensive coordinator. And we've shown that we can get teams to play behind the sticks. I think looking at just the community, we allowed 47 yards of total offense, and we took away almost that many yards and sacks and tackles for loss. So the guys on the defensive side of the ball have done a really good job of getting teams behind the chains, and that's where we have the opportunity. If we can get them behind the chains on a first and second down, get them uncomfortable, get them to do something they're not used to doing, which is play in the perimeter and throw the ball, then we've got a really good opportunity there.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you visiting with us, and best of luck in our Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week from Woodbury on Friday night.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. See you then.
We've been talking to Coach Andy Bartsch from Cannon County, and we'll have an interview with Kyle Shoulders from Macon County when we return to the Box Score presented by Carthage Safeway.
Got a special outdoor project that you need to tackle? BDGR Excavating is the one to call. Custom land clearing, mulching, excavation, and more. They can help get the job done, even when others have failed. Call the problem solvers at BDGR at 615-489-1329 and let them help you get that project out of the way so you can really start enjoying your property. BDGR Excavating.
Nearstar Tennessee Zinc Mines is a proud supporter of athletic programs throughout the area, including high school football and high school basketball. To learn more about us, please visit us at our website, www.nearstar.com. Nearstar Tennessee Zinc Mines.
Looking to buy or sell a home? Call Underwood Hometown Realty today. Our experienced team of professionals is here to guide you every step of the way. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to sell, we make the process smooth and stress-free. With deep roots in the community, we know the local market inside and out. Let us help you find your dream home or get the best value for your current one. Call Underwood Hometown Realty now at 615-683-3300, where hometown service meets real estate expertise.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
Here with Macon County head football coach Kyle Shoulders. And Kyle, I know you suffered a stinging defeat against Upperman at Upperman 35-34 earlier in the year. And then last Friday night, your team just didn't play well. I mean, you have to call a spade sometime. And unfortunately, it reared its ugly head in a region game.
Yeah, and I think more than our team not playing well, I don't think our coaching staff, especially me, did a real good job coaching. I don't feel like we had them prepared last week. We didn't do things necessary to put our guys in a position to be successful, and that's on us. And we've taken some ownership with that and tried to go back to the drawing board a little bit this week and kind of get back to being ourselves and doing what we do, and hopefully can right the ship a little bit this week.
You don't want to take anything away from White County, and of course we're not here to talk about the team from Sparta, but they've got a pretty good football team, and maybe that's a, I hate to call it a wake-up call, Kyle, but maybe it was something to help you all focus now as you get ready, trying to get a home field bid for the playoffs.
Well, for sure. You know, we talked about that as a team on Sunday. If that loss eventually gets us to being the very best version of ourselves sooner than later, then it's probably worth every bit of the pain, agony that we felt since then. So there's some good that can come of it if we handle it the correct way. And this early in the week, I feel like we have handled it appropriately, and if that can continue on, I have a lot of confidence in our guys.
Kyle, when you talk about Macon County football, it's hard to not talk about the Border Twins. Of course, you know, we hear about Mr. Football finalist, but his brother's a pretty special player too. And, you know, I think the way your quarterback is played, especially against us, using his feet real well, that's three big weapons for you.
Well, we do. We kind of hang our hat on spreading the ball around. You know, I think you've probably seen a Macon County team 2 years ago that went the entire season without number 4 Zach, and we leaned greatly on Gabe, and he rose to the occasion, no doubt, with those numbers, and the things that he done that year were just amazing. Then you roll into last year, and you know, we get Zach for approximately half of the season, and he had a great impact on that season for sure. And now this year, being able to be with us from start and hopefully to finish, he has definitely carried a great load within our offense and our defense, and it's been able to relieve Gabe some, and we're not having to give it to him 20 plus times a game, and we can split those touches up and try to save some wear and tear on both those guys, and they're very good complements of one another.
Coach, it looks like the rest of the regular season schedule doesn't have any gimmies on there. DeKalb County this week, then Livingston Academy, Watertown, a team that's maybe the bigger question mark on the schedule, and then Stone Memorial, the team that beat DeKalb County last week. So there's no gimmies in there really to speak of.
You know, our students here, our football players, our community, our school is so fortunate that we have what we have from a football perspective in sports here, given the fact that we have such a challenging region that has a number of individuals that we could start in conversation that would be deserving of mentionings of Mr. Football. Tons of athletes in Region 4, 4A. But on the other hand, all of our non-region games are great rivals that go back for some time with bordering counties. Our rival in games with Smith County, Trousdale County, Westmoreland are all very special to our community and those communities as well. And it's kind of what high school football is about. And there's a lot of school spirit in a lot of those areas. And it just promotes a very positive and enjoyable experience for the kids that are involved. So while challenging, definitely, however, it is one that is very enjoyable to be at this school and playing in this type of schedule each and every week.
And those rivalries like that, more importantly, put butts in the seats, don't they?
For sure, you know, and listen, we talk about this to our guys all the time. Just there's going to become a time that down the road that I hope that they're with some of their peers and their teammates, and they're talking about the times in which they played. And I've got great confidence that a lot of those memories are going to be in relation to many of those big region games as well as those big rivalry games. And we talk all the time. There's still a coffee shop or two around in these communities that like to make football the topic of conversation more often than not. And I really appreciate that type of environment. That's old school football to me. I think that's lost in a lot of areas, but thankfully us and our neighboring counties have been able to harbor that for some time.
Coach, I know administration-wise, it's good to have the backing of your administration. And I feel like you have that with Daniel Cook being your principal, a former player there at Macon County High School, a former coach there at Macon County High School. That's got to be very important.
Well, for sure, not only is maybe one of the best men that I've had the ability to be acquainted with, but also one of my very best friends. He's one of my very best teammates. We played together and went to school together, and no doubt his experience as a coach and as a principal and assistant principal here, he's just wore many hats. He understands, I think, what it takes for a program to be successful. I think he understands when he needs to come in the office and probably scold me for doing this play call or that play call, but at the same time, he's very sympathetic and knows when he probably needs to, hey, you'll get him next time. He's just a great individual and has been very supportive of us in this particular role. And no doubt it allows us to have the ability to do the things that we've done to hopefully give ourselves the best chance of being successful.
Kyle, I've always said there's four things that make for a very special football atmosphere and team, and those things include coaches, they include players, they include fans, and as Terry mentioned, they include administration. And Macon County's got all four of those ingredients. Hopefully this, which has had such an incredible run for so many years, continues to have that run, because you've got to have all four of those things to be successful.
It really is. It really is a special place, and I see that there's a lot of those things in place in the surrounding areas around us, and that's why they've ultimately been successful throughout many years as well. And I'm thankful that Macon County has got some of those resources, and they give our kids not only the best opportunity to be successful, but they provide them an experience that's enjoyable, and at the end of the day, they can be thankful for being a part of it.
Kyle, let's turn our attention to DeKalb County, a very good football team, one that's kind of stinging like you are from a loss last week. Tell us a little about the DeKalb County Tigers.
Exceptional coached football team. Coach Trapp, Coach Shaw, their staff there does a phenomenal job of what they do. They've always been extremely fundamentally sound on both sides of the ball. We have always had great matchups with them. It's always been a very physical game. It's always been kind of a back and forth. It's not a series that one team really outweighs in number of wins against the other. It's kind of been back and forth, and I don't expect it to be much different come Friday night. I think we'll get a highly motivated DeKalb County team coming in here that's looking for a playoff spot, and Trapp and Shaw will no doubt have those guys ready to play, and they won't be intimidated by the atmosphere at all, I'm sure.
Well, Coach Kyle Shoulders, appreciate you visiting with us. Best of luck to the Macon County Tigers.
Thank you guys for what y'all do.
Thanks, Kyle.
We've been visiting with Kyle Shoulders, the head coach and assistant principal at Macon County High School, and we'll have more of the box score when we return, presented by Carthage Safeway.
Do you ever worry about the safety of your home when you leave? Or at night while you're sleeping? Then give your home a professional security makeover with help from DTC Security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation. There's never been a better time to get started.
Contact us and start your home's DTC Security Makeover today.
If you're a commercial driver looking for a company to call home, Huff and Puff Trucking is the company for you. Our employees are professional and dedicated individuals that take pride in what they do. We offer an outstanding pay package with a dispatch structure that maximizes your home time. To learn more about a company that knows you by name and treats you like family, call us at 1-800-965-5033 or visit our website at huffpufftrucking.com.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
Got a special outdoor project that you need to tackle? BDGR Excavating is the one to call. Custom land clearing, mulching, excavation, and more. They can help get the job done, even when others have failed. Call the problem solvers at BDGR at 615-489-1329 and let them help you get that project out of the way so you can really start enjoying your property. BDGR Excavating.
Looking to buy or sell a home? Call Underwood Hometown Realty today. Our experienced team of professionals is here to guide you every step of the way. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to sell, we make the process smooth and stress-free. With deep roots in the community, we know the local market inside and out. Let us help you find your dream home or get the best value for your current one. Call Underwood Hometown Realty now at 615-683-3300, where hometown service meets real estate expertise.
Welcome back to the Box Score. Terry Collins, Murphy Fair, and Justin Malden doing all the hard work as we've got a football game coming up in Woodbury. It's our Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC Sports, and it's Cornersville at Cannon County. You can watch it on DTC3 or you can watch it online as well, Murph.
Cornersville has had a great football program for quite some time. In the last 10 years, I think they've been to the state championship game a time or two. The last couple of years have been a little tough. They've gone through multiple coaches, but it's a battle. Will be a battle between these two. But I think Cannon County, with a nice showing last week, if they can carry that over against Cornersville, they'll have a good night.
Let's go ahead and look at the East Tennessee picks for Murph. Knoxville West at Alcoa.
I got to get my notes down in the right place. Knoxville West's only loss last year came at the hands of Alcoa, 24-7. Both won gold balls in Chattanooga. West in 5A, Alcoa in 3A. This one should be a dandy. I think players from West still remember and have that bad taste in their mouth, however, against Alcoa. And even though the game will be played at Alcoa, I'm going to pick Knoxville West to pull it out.
Well, Murph, a battle of the private schools is a long-running rivalry in Chattanooga, Macaulay at Baylor.
That goes back to the early 1900s. I think they're really close to maybe having 100 ball games between them. Division II experts figure these two teams are the best in Division II AAA, and I'll have to agree. Macaulay beat Baylor in the regular season and in the state championship game last year. A lot of folks didn't see that coming. Macaulay's looking for revenge, and I think they get it sometime this week.
Very good. At Bradley Central.
Both of those teams have been strong football programs, but quite frankly, they stink this year. They're not doing very well at all. Both have been among the best 6A teams in East Tennessee for quite some time, but not this year. Bradley Central's 2-3. Farragut has yet to win a game in 5 outings. I think the home field advantage will help Bradley Central, but I just had to throw that in because even the great programs slip up every once in a while. I'm going to go with Bradley.
Let's go ahead and look at the Middle Tennessee picks, starting with the Rockets traveling to Marion County. That's a big region football game.
Boy, it is. And I saw that game in Chapel Hill last year, and both teams are much, much better than they showed on that particular night. The title in the region could be decided in this game, although Fayetteville may have something to say about that. I think Marion County just has too much beef up front and wins that game going away.
Franklin at Brentwood.
Franklin is much improved over last year. They finally got the right coach in there, but I don't know that they're improved enough to beat Brentwood High School. Brentwood along with Ravenwood are likely to be the 2 teams that get home field bids, and I look for Brentwood's Bruins to win that game rather easily.
South Pitt at Middle Tennessee Christian.
Middle Tennessee Christian is the state's defending Division II Single A champion. The Pirates are the defending 1A state champion. But I don't really know that game. Both of those teams have been a little suspect, especially Middle Tennessee Christian. But I think South Pitt has plenty to cheer about on the way back to Marion County.
Let's go ahead and look at the West Tennessee picks, starting with Westview at Dyersburg.
Terry, if Westview overlooks a good Dyersburg team, the Chargers just might lose. I don't see that happening, however. A showdown with Covington in the regular season finale should give 2 undefeated teams facing each other for the Region 7 title. I've got to go with Westview. They're just putting godly numbers up on the scoreboard.
Whitehaven at Germantown.
Whitehaven and Collierville are both undefeated in the region and sit atop Region 8-6A. Both have additional big games ahead of them beyond this week's battle. Neither needs to be looking ahead, though. It should be a good game, and I'll pick Westview to win. Or Whitehaven, I'm sorry.
Let's go ahead and look at Huntington at Riverside.
Both of these teams, along with Milan, Jackson Central Mary, and Peabody, are likely playoff participants, but only 4 get to go. Each team has to play 3 of the next 4 teams that I just listed. I'll go with Riverside. They're the defending state champ, but that particular region that my grandson has to play in is easily the toughest region in the state at 2A.
Let's go ahead and look at the local picks, and that concerns our 5 teams that we cover.
I thought Gordonsville would have a tough battle against Forest, but after their loss to Monterey, I'm sure Coach Jackson has maybe had an extra practice session or 2 to get ready for Forest. Forest has a good football team, and Gordonsville better be ready or they'll fall out of the top 10 with a loss to the Rockets.
Smith County going to the state's #1 team in 4A. They played the #1 team in 2A in East Robertson last week.
We can't tease Coach Dyer about an easy schedule, can we? Upperman's is just Upperman, and Coach Kane does such a great job over there. That one will be tough, but I think Smith County will give them a great effort in Baxter nonetheless.
Watertown at Giles County.
Once again, Giles County not quite as good as I thought they were going to be this year, but still, I think they're a team that will beat Watertown this week.
Cab at Macon.
Well, I don't know. That's a tough one to call, Terry. What do you think about that one?
I got to go with the home team when it's close like that.
And that's what I was going to do, too. The home field advantage, I think, will make the difference in that one.
Cornersville at Cannon County.
Yeah, I think Cannon County gets another win, 2 in a row, as they get ready for non-district action next week against Notre Dame, and then a couple of regional battles to close out the regular season. Their open date is week 11, so they'll get to go scout some people that way.
Well, thank all our fine sponsors, our title sponsors, Carthage Safeway. We've got Huff and Puff Trucking, Near Star, Sonic of Carthage, Underwood Home Realty, and BDGR Excavation. Thanks for watching the Box Score. We'll see you next week. And Box Score is brought to you by Carthage Safeway.